Obviously, they're a very physical basketball team, and you know it's that continues to be a place of concern for me with us moving forward. Our inability to get a defensive rebound in the second half just made things real difficult for us, and but that's more credit to them. That young man Geis now, holy cow! I told him after the game, I don't think I've been around too many guys that have improved the way he's improved. He's such a don't go away, just keeps coming at you, and that's a good win for us. That's a good win. That's a hard physical game. We didn't shoot it real good. We didn't rebound on the defensive end, but somehow, some way, with the game and the balance, we came up with some hard defensive rebounds, and then obviously Felipe and AJ make those 2 threes that allowed us to take a deep breath, I guess. But good win for us.
Frank, their three-point shooting was obviously a concern. What was the plan to attack them and kind of run them off the line?
There are times they were playing 5 guards that all 5 guys shoot, and our guards made some mistakes in pick and roll defense, and that's what I'm telling you about Geist. It's every time we made a mistake, he made us pay. Our pick and roll defense has to be better. And right early in the year, our bigs were not doing a very good job. Actually, A.J. Lawson's a guy that settled them down with his on-the-ball defense and his ability to deal with that high ball screen in a clear way. That's what Kwanzaa. That's why he started the 4 guards to start the second half. He just basically said, "I'm going to space them out, and I'm going to go at them." We made in our guards. I don't like saying names because I might say somebody's not connected with what we're doing, but when you say there are mistakes during the games, it's not the right thing. But AJ's the one that settled it down. When he was on the ball, it settled them down a little bit.
Frank, how Tillman fouls out, I think less than 4 minutes into the second half, and it seemed like Chris really started to assert himself before that too, but particularly after that, he had some more kind of room to roam down there. How important was that in the game for, as that thing played out?
Yeah, it's Chris is playing real well for us right now. I mean, he's really engaged. We've learned to play with him. Our perimeter is pretty much brand new, and the guys that start. So they've learned to play with Chris. He protects that rim for us. I mean, he gets a lot of credit for, when he has one of those spectacular blocks. But in reality, it's his ball screen defense. It's his willingness to take a charge. Not just making that flash block because he's big and athletic, but breaking us down in the simple plays. And he's back to doing all those things. He didn't get an offensive rebound today, which is a credit to Missouri. They weren't going to let him get a rebound. They're physical, man. I'm just telling you, Kwanzaa and I coach against each other now. They're physical, man. I respect the heck out of the way they play.
Felipe had 14 points today, got to the line 6 times. Just what did you see out of him, and is that a role that you'd like to see him embrace a little bit more, stepping out and shooting those long range shots?
Yeah, Felipe can shoot the basketball. It's not everyone's J.J. Redick, man. Where they just show up and they make 100 threes their freshman year. It takes time, and he grew up a lot last year. He physically he wasn't ready for the speed of college basketball, but he had no choice. That's what we had, and he was forced to deal with it. And he grew up a lot. He's been practicing and playing real well. He actually did something which I haven't, since Sindarius, I haven't had anyone do, which is that when he caught the ball on the sideline and A.J. Lawson's wide open in front of him, and he refused to pass it to A.J. because he was trying to get them to foul him, but now we end up with a hard trap. They didn't foul. We got to burn a timeout on and when we came into timeout, I was on him. He says, "You're right. My bad. What do you want to do? Stop. What do you like?" He got me to get back to the next play. I haven't had since Sindarius, I haven't had anyone, everyone talks about coaches help players. Players help coaches too now. It's, and he did that. It's a credit to him because he's grown up a lot. Last year he wouldn't say boo. This year he's starting to really, really engage his personality into this team.
Coach, your team is 3-0 in the SEC play, third time in program history, but now you guys go on the road for the next 2 games. Of course, last time you guys were on the road, you got that big shot against Florida. What do you think is going to be key for this group now that they're, have a lot of momentum, kind of dealing with success and having to perform well on the road now?
Yeah, that's why we scheduled the game at Wyoming. That's why we played at Michigan. That's why we played at Providence. And by the way, I understand we didn't play in Providence's arena, but the last time I checked, the 9,000 Providence fans in the stands 30 minutes away from their campus, that's an away game. That's why you schedule those games. So when we went into Florida, we were prepared to not fall victim to the emotion of the crowd or the game. Just play for 40 minutes and put yourself in a place where you got a chance to win at the end, which is what you have to do on the road, especially in a league like this. We're not going on the road and making, I hope we do, 26 threes and win by 37. That's not happening. You guys paid attention to the scores in this league on the road? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how hard it is right now. So we just got to go in there and continue to be consumed with what this team has really, really embraced, which is play for your team, play the game. Don't get wrapped up on good shot, bad shot, opponent, foul call, the atmosphere of the arena, home, away. Play the game. That's why Wyoming, Michigan, Providence, at Florida, we've been in those places. Does that mean we're going to win? No. It's going to be really hard to win at Vanderbilt. But we've been prepared for that moment. Now it's how do we handle it once that game starts.
What do you attribute some of the second half slippage to? Because it looked like for the first half you played like you did the first 2 in SEC play, and then around the middle part of the second half there was some slippage there.
I played an SEC team. Maybe you and I were in 2 different arenas today. I don't remember us at Florida and Mississippi State being up 12 or 13. I don't remember that. I believe we were up 12, something like that in the second half. It's a 40-minute game. We didn't make jump shots. We made some early in the game, and then we didn't make jump shots. And we got the ball on the inside. Where we got a little tentative was the guys with the ball trying to play off the dribble. We got a little tentative there. But give them credit. I thought we guarded well. The slippage here to your point, because you're right about one thing. We didn't get defensive rebounds. So when we got a 9, 10-point lead, we let them back in the game on offensive rebounds. Offensive rebound, foul, free throws, open 3. Now they're back in the game. But that's a credit to them, not so much a disservice by us. That's a credit to them, man. They're hard to deal with because of their physicality.
Frank, how pleased were you with Alonso's aggression, especially under the basket, and how's Jason?
Yeah, I couldn't. We were in the locker room because our guys kind of did a volunteer kind of shoot around kind of stuff yesterday that we were not allowed to be engaged with anything. Whether it's practice or what to do or work on this. I couldn't do none of that stuff. So our guys, they wanted to get a workout in, so the staff, we all stayed in the locker room. And the Hassani and Chris, who handled the whole thing, before they went out, they came by my locker room and they said, we're going to be out there till about 12:15. So I said, all right. So I got on the exercise bike. I figured great time to burn off those 10 chocolate chip cookies I ate the night before. And about 12 o'clock, I went into the players' locker room, and I just sat down, waiting for them to come in, just to dap them up or whatever. And Mark Rogers comes running by, says, Jason dislocated his knee. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Good news is that structurally, everything's intact. But he's out for a while. And then Alonso has great instincts for the game. He's got to learn what we do. He's one of those kids, he finds the ball. But he's got to learn what we do. If he learns what we do because he's willing to shoot it and he can pass it, and you saw him play off the bounce and go against Tillman, he finds the ball. He's willing to make plays, but he's got to learn what we're doing. And his biggest, I can deal like I used to with Chris and everyone else that's come through here with some offensive breakdown, but his ball screen defense has to be good. He can't let his man go out there and just blindside our guards, and he doesn't call the ball screen, you know. And that's right now for him to sustain minutes. That's his challenge. He's got to get real good at that.
Frank, what would you say is the biggest difference in this team in the past 3 weeks or so?
It's you got young guys, man. We got young guys that you know, we work every day. Becoming a good team, it's not like a light switch. You don't just walk in one day and say, you know what, I'm tired of losing. Let me turn the lights on. It's not how it works. You focus in on getting better. You focus in on helping. My biggest, everyone judges our guys on wins and losses. In today's day of social media, I don't need to tell you guys. Those of you guys that follow me on social media, you know I haven't been active on that because the garbage I was reading on that was embarrassing. So I've gotten off of that. And you don't think our kids are getting told those things? So, you know, my whole thing is anytime there's confusion, you don't help people by making them more miserable. You help them by educating them. You help them by teaching. Every time there's confusion, I don't make guys run. I teach. Education is what clears our minds. Education is what gives us confidence. That's how life works. So we do the same thing on the basketball court. We go out there, and doesn't mean we go out there and play patty cake and we high-five each other. No, but we teach. We get back to what everything in life's all about with young people, which is teaching them. When you teach somebody, regardless of their age, that person realizes that you don't care about the score, that you care about helping them. And when you do that, they're going to continue to listen. And the good thing is that then without me having to spend too much, because I don't deal in negative. I'm loud, I stomp, I kick, I get it. But I don't deal on negativity. Life's too hard to be bogged down by negative stuff. But by doing that, I don't have to address all that outside negativity. Those kids, they migrate to each other because we create internal peer pressure because we believe in each other. And that's what's happened. But with all that said, the same way we've won 3 in a row in this crazy league, we'd lose 5 in a row. And we'll be sitting here in 3 weeks. And you guys are going to be asking me a different question. But I'm really proud with where we're at as a team. They've continued to fight. They didn't give in. They take on challenges. My 3 assistants, I just told the players in the locker room, they've done an unbelievable job. Because you know what happens in a lot of places? I've been there. I've been an assistant coach. And your team loses some games. All of a sudden, that one assistant coach that doesn't have a scout comes in, and you know what he does? Hey, I got to go see this guy that plays, so I'm not going to be around for the next 2 days. I'm just telling you. That's what happens. So now you're in practice, and you're down a coach because that guy went to recruit. These dudes we're recruiting on the phone and all that other stuff. Them guys are buckled in with these young bucks to keep them in the right place. And credit those kids, man. They've responded.
Coach, you mentioned earlier just how tough it is to win on the road in this league. With this game then in the air as of just 24 hours ago, basically, how important was it to reinforce some of this play that you're seeing out of the team, the way they're responding, and give them more of this winning feeling by getting this game at home?
I lived out there, so I understand travel gets extremely complicated sometimes. The last thing we ever need is for any of our coaches, student athletes to be so consumed with playing a game that they have to travel in bad conditions. That shouldn't happen. So credit, basically our administration worked really hard to understand on how to go from Friday at 5 o'clock or something, this when all that started, like, hey, we can't play Saturday at 1. It's not happening. How do we communicate to everybody? How do we get all this done? Okay, let's play Friday at 9 o'clock at night. They're going to try and do this. If they can do this in the morning, then we're going to play Sunday at 1. And, and then our fans, I just said that on my radio show. 11th hour change of schedule, and they showed up, and they were great. They gave us that personality to go fight for that home court.
I guess you touched on your call-in show earlier this week about defensively the freshmen are kind of getting it a little bit more. Have you sensed that, and just where are you guys and where you would like to play defensively at this moment?
Yeah, we're in a much better place. Keyshawn, AJ, Alonso's still lost, but he's got to help us, and he will help us. But AJ and Keyshawn, I thought both of them were pretty good defensively today. The hardest thing with all young kids is keeping their focus. So before, we had no idea where to start at. We were dead from the word go. I'm talking about individually, okay? Now they're figuring out how to get to the right place, how a scouting report says A, B, and C, so start as soon as you see something, the A, B, and C. But now it's a matter of sustaining, which is the hard part about playing team defense, is once you take away these teams' initial hit, they're going to run counters to what you're doing. We all lose sight sometimes. We're so consumed with our guys. Conzo's won a bunch of games as a head coach. When he sees what you do, he makes adjustments. And Sindarius Thornwell, Carrera, Mendogas, Chris, when those adjustments are made, you can tell them, like, hey, this is what – got it. Boom. Kotsar, they get it. The freshmen, as soon as the other team makes an adjustment, it's like you're back to square one. And it's trying to get them to understand the counter that we have to do to kind of combat the adjustment they're making. That's growth, man. That's where it comes. But we're in a much better place. Even Trey Campbell. You got to understand with Trey, okay? He had a real bad knee injury, so didn't play for a whole year. And he just got cleared like right before he started school this summer. And where he played at before, I said this when we signed him. The reason I took him is he played in structure, but he played completely differently than we play. So he's having to fight and learn and trust in what we're doing, and he is, and because he's playing better, no surprise we're playing better.
Frank, how important was it for you guys to establish your tempo? You've been doing that a lot lately, is kind of speeding things up. I mean, Keyshawn, that opening possession, tries to take the house down that first drive, and it kind of got some energy. You guys played up and down majority of the game against a team that is one of the slowest teams in the country, kind of like Florida and Virginia and Michigan. How important was that today, and how have you seen your guys done a better job of that, of establishing that pace from game to game?
That was when we lost at Wyoming. That was my most frustrating thing, is that we allowed them to control the tempo. So we never attacked them. We allowed their zone to set every time. We just were complacent with dribbling it up and letting their zone set and then trying to attack their zone. And that's not who we work to be. But it just happens. Nothing you can do. It happens sometimes. But that's a big part. Think about a couple years ago when we made that run. Go look at the scores in the NCAA tournament. We play fast. Go to K-State. The year we went to Elite Eight. And why do I use those two teams? Because those are the two oldest teams I've coached at K-State and here. So that means guys have been in it. That team averaged like 81 points a game for the year. It's the way I like to coach. I like tempo. I like playing fast, aggressive. I can't ask our guys to play defensively to disrupt and create open court opportunities the way we try to play defensively. And they said, don't run. Let's walk it up. Turn Keyshawn loose. Turn AJ loose. Hassani, turn him loose. And we're getting better point guard play this year. So it's allowing guys to get out and run a little bit. Appreciate it.